Welcome to FutureBankToday, a community dedicated to driving innovation in our financial institutions. This is your host, Jim Kittredge, and today's episode is on innovation and the law of the three mirrors. Over the last 2 weeks, we have talked a lot about how complexity affects innovation in any organization. The question becomes, how do we assess how complex an organization is? And maybe even more importantly, how much of that complexity is actually built into the culture itself? Well, one option would be to hire a bunch of expensive consultants and do a detailed analysis over a 12-month period. Would that work? Yeah, probably it would. In fact, this is the direction most companies take. Today, I want to offer a simpler, yet equally effective technique to look at the organization more holistically. I call this technique the law of the three mirrors. Over my career, I observed only a handful of truths. That is, things that you could truly count on to being accurate. I maybe should note that although these truths are universally agreed upon, and I think most executives would actually agree with them, we often discount them when they don't actually fit our current agenda. And yes, even I have fallen victim to that. So what are these universal truths? Well, here's a few of them. The need to face the brutal facts at all times. There are no silver bullets, period. Good, fast, cheap. We can only optimize 2 of them, regardless what overpriced consultants tell us. If there was one right way to do innovation, we'd already be all doing it. And lastly, the law of the three mirrors. What is the law of three mirrors? Well, imagine 3 mirrors facing each other in a perfect triangle. So what you see in one is a perfect reflection of the other 2. And no matter which mirror you look at, it's always reflecting back the image from the other 2. So what's reflected in these mirrors? Well, one mirror reflects perfectly the product and product management of your company. The second mirror, it reflects perfectly your business operations and business processes. And the third mirror is your technology and your technology systems. Now, at first blush, you would think they would actually show 3 different things when you looked inside those mirrors. And that would kind of break our law of each mirror perfectly reflecting each other. But if you were to truly look and truly understand the detail of any one of those mirrors, the reality is you would understand the other 2. I know it sounds a little far-fetched, so let me explain. I think it might be most useful to look at a hypothetical organization. If we look at that organization's product management mirror, we might see the following characteristics. There are many legacy products, there are many current products, and there are many future products in the pipeline. Based on what has been funded in the recent past, we see that incremental product management is the primary focus. That is, incremental product development, new features, new functions, happen on a regular basis. And looking forward, we can see a number of new features planned for the near future. Also in this mirror, we see strategies for major innovation initiatives. However, those strategies seem to only last around 12 months before they change them and move on to the next hot topic. In fact, if we looked at the product and innovation strategies over the last several years, we see less of a strategy and more of a list of product initiatives that we refer to as the strategy. And while this might be accurate for a typical bank, I doubt highly it's what your bank does. If all you told me about that company were those characteristics, I could easily describe in great detail what the hypothetical company's technology and strategy would look like. In addition, I could tell you how their business operations would function based on all the business processes. I would describe their IT as having a significant number of orphan products running in both business systems and the technology systems themselves. It would also have a long-term strategy of the year concept in place. In addition, there would be major innovation initiatives But the reality is they're mostly just talked about because the focus in IT would be primarily on driving incremental new functionality and incremental new tools into the environment. And if I looked at the business operations, I would see similar results. So why is this? Why does each organization so perfectly reflect one another? Is it Newton's third law of motion, that for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction? Is it the behavior that is rewarded in the company? Is it the company history? Is it the crossbreeding of senior executives across multiple organizations? Or is it simply just cultural? Truthfully, I don't know why, and it's likely that it's some or all of those reasons. But knowing why is not as important as knowing the results of the law of the three mirrors, at least not initially. So how does this all relate to innovation? Well, once you look thoroughly at one of your mirrors in your company, you'll have the ability to then describe the other two, therefore the whole organization. And it works as a reality check to what your organization can actually deliver on. Not what you want it to, but what it actually has the capability to do so. This is another example of facing those brutal facts. All the desire in the world won't equal a hill of beans in terms of helping the company deliver on its innovation journey if you work against the law of the three mirrors. So what's the bottom line? It's simple. You can't change one of the mirrors in isolation. For example, IT can't suddenly become strategic if product management and the business processes are all being executed tactically. The business can't suddenly start simplifying if its processes are all complex and intertwined along with its systems. Even if you tried to do it, it would quickly encounter such resistance that you'd be forced to align back to a tactical strategy. I have seen some of the best tech executives in the country step in and truly transform IT from a tactical organization to a more strategic organization through sheer will and intelligence, only to see it snap right back 2 weeks after they moved on from the organization. I wish I could say I saw that happen once, but I've seen it happen over half a dozen times in my career. You can't change one of the mirrors. You have to change all three at the same time. Anything short of that is just fooling yourself. I know of no more important conversation in any company than to have a conversation about what are our real capabilities when it comes to innovation. Stay tuned for next week's discussion as we begin to talk about innovation and the branch network. Thank you for your time today, and I look forward to hearing from you.